So when I started practicing meditation, I was just delighted to discover that prayer and meditation can be expressed through dance. And during the week, I posed a question on Facebook for our Touching the Stillness members there, asking them whether the idea of dancing their prayers elated or terrified them. And most people responded that it elates them. I guess the ones who were terrified couldn't bring themselves to respond. But the common theme in most of those replies was that the people who responded, they said it takes them out of their head and allows them to be free form, but most had never considered it as a form of prayer. So my guest today is Gabrielle Roth from the New York the Move-In Center in New York City, and she has been dancing through her life, most of her life, and I don't think she originally considered it a prayer, but certainly it has become so in her life now. And she's found a new rhythm in the last year or so as she has overcome the challenge of experiencing stage 4 cancer. I was introduced to Gabrielle Roth's work when my mentor gave me her CDs and a video box of her wave videos at my ordination. And I actually took the CDs with me on my 40-day silence retreat to add to my practice. So it was a real dynamic part of that experience. So Gabrielle Roth is she's possessed a hunger for rituals of the spirit, as described in her book, Sweat Your Prayers, and actually became very fascinated by the two poles of body and spirit represented by ballet and religion. And she was 7 when she glimpsed a ballerina through the window of a dance school and made up her mind that she wanted to do that too. She got hold of a book that illustrated basic ballet positions and started practicing them at home in her room until eventually her parents allowed her to attend a real ballet class. And religion has always held a place in her young life, and on Sundays she hid in the bushes outside the local fundamentalist church, enraptured by the passionate rhythms of preaching and singing. And then on weekdays she attended the Roman Catholic schools where the nuns indoctrinated her in suspicion, if not outright loathing, she says, for the body that she wanted to dance with. But she overcame all of that and continued to dance through college, through the rock and roll years, and a knee injury reared its ugly head and stopped her in her tracks, and the doctors told her she would never dance again. But there was a turning point, and that came one evening at the Echelon Institute up in California, where she was listening to the live percussionists who were pounding out rhythms that were so irresistible that Gabrielle found herself on the dance floor in spite of what the doctors said and in spite of her knee. And she says that the music took over completely, that by the time she came back to herself she was exhausted and drenched in sweat, but her knee, that had never been treated, turned out to be perfectly sound. And so from that she has taken on this idea and developed this craving for the ecstatic experience as one way of satisfying our prayer life, our need to express our soul through dance. Gabrielle Roth is a recording artist, an author, a theatre director and a dance teacher, and has released 12 albums. Well, actually it's probably more than that now. And she also has 2 books, Sweat Your Prayers, which I just mentioned, and Maps to Ecstasy. She has 2 videos, The Wave, Ecstatic Dance for Body and Soul, and Dance, the Body Electric. So it's my joy to have a dance guru on the program today to talk about my favorite subject, one of my many favorite subjects, dancing your prayers. Gabrielle, good morning and welcome to Touching the Stillness.
Good morning, and welcome to you and everyone else.
How are you?
We move into the subject, which is near and dear to my heart.
And how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Sitting here on my couch in New York City.
Oh. Well, I believe, Gabrielle, that dance is a prayer because it takes us into stillness, and that in stillness we connect with the divine. Why do you believe that dance is a prayer?
Well, I actually believe dance is a prayer. I believe dance is a prayer because there's no dogma in the dance, right. And God is the dance. For me, that is the most clear thing, is that the energy, the movement, the force the spirit that moves us is what we tend to call God, and that is a dance. It's a mysterious dance. It's a dance that cannot be, it is only stopped by death.
Mm-hmm.
It has cycles, patterns, movements, waves, vibrations that it moves through, and so that's the thing for me, is that God is the dance. For so long for me, God, as a child, God was this mysterious masculine force in the sky who was a very big judge, and under whose scrutiny I experienced a lot of shame for the feelings and the energies inside of my own body, so that my body became the enemy, and I would run as fast as I could from it. And at some point in my early teens, I chose as my womanhood began to emerge, I chose to starve that energy, and became the symbol of my times, the starving woman, pre-Twiggy, not necessarily chasing skinniness, because I was skinny, but chasing emptiness. It was like I didn't know, and having some control over my universe, which of course we have no control over our universe. We are indeed in the hands of spirit. And I started teaching when I was 16 to elders and kids and people in rehab centers and back wards of mental institutes. And, so early on I began to feel the power of movement, not dance. Dance is an art form, but movement, which is a life form,
yes,
which is a gift, which is something for every body needs to move. Every body is moved. It is that which holds us in unity, and it is that which is an expression of our uniqueness, our style of how we move, how we speak, how we walk, how we breathe. This is all very individuated, and yet we are all doing these very same things, which equalizes us. And as we see right now in Haiti, where, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, whoever is standing on that corner or in that building, it's like that is the fate or the karma of the moment. And this concept in the dance, we start to really feel the power of our uniqueness, our individuality, which is therefore an expression of God, an expression of our what we have to offer, what we bring to the big dance.
You say that. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I thought you would carry on.
I never end.
Well,
it's a never-ending subject, Paulette.
I know how you feel, and what you and I have both discovered as we teach movement as a life force is that most people are deeply afraid of their bodies, as you were just expressing how you felt about yours as a youth. And you say that one of your missions was to seduce people back to their bodies and therefore their God-given power, which you considered holy work. How successful have you been in accomplishing that mission, and what part has your signature 5 rhythms played in that?
Well, I think that at this moment I can say that I have truly accomplished that mission, as the 5 rhythms are a global spiritual practice, creative practice, and they have crossed borders. They dance across borders without and seem to ignite and catalyze and create a structure and a formless form for anybody, regardless of the issues that they're dealing with, to come to Jesus, to come to the depths of their own soul. So it would be used in a different way in Africa today, or in Japan, or in China, where it is being used, or Thailand, or Australia, or America, or England, or because it is a transformation. They provide us the DNA of the creative process and a transformation for cultural and personal neuroses into creative form.
Can you tell us what those 5 rhythms are?
Yes, the first one is flowing. It's about being fluid and being embodied, being in the body. So the flow is to find the flow of your own energy. And that's what we do and study in that rhythm, which is vast. the mother rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
The staccato is the second rhythm, and that's really about, once we are fluid, how do we define that flow? How do we focus that flow?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what energy wants to come out? So it's a very expressive and percussive and 4/4 type beat driven rhythm. It is the rhythm of most rock and roll music, and it is the rhythm that we grew up with. It is the rhythm that our culture embodies, and in this rhythm we learn how to embody the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And become more attuned to our feelings, to what we're feeling inside, not just having our feet on this earth, but what those feet are carrying
Mm-hmm.
with them. And the third rhythm is chaos, which is the nature of the universe. But it's the rhythm of the mind. It is the rhythm that allows us to be mindful. It's like once we've embodied the body and embodied the heart, we need to embody the mind so that we can access the intelligence in our fingertips, behind our knees, on the soles of our feet, like an animal, pick up the vibrations of the earth as she speaks to us. And, this is how animals know there are earthquakes coming. This is how I know there are things happening in my world. It's through my feet, through my body, through my breath, through the signals and the intuitive, instinctive response of my body moment to moment, which is what we're learning and practicing in the 5 rhythms. How to be an instinctive, intuitive human being, a human in motion. And a human in motion is a prayer, a living prayer. Because when we are unified, body, heart, and mind, that provides the energy and the essence of the soul. So that is being soulful. That is what a soul is. A soul is when a body, heart, and mind are unified, a unified field. We talk about world unity, political unity, economic unity, and yet we can live in a very dismembered, fractured state of being within our own universes, thinking one thing, feeling another, and doing a third. So that the practice of the 5 rhythms is a way to creatively and almost magically begin to do this embodiment practice, this embodiment process, this embodiment prayer, so that we can truly be an embodied soul living on an embodied spirit. And that is to say, the soul lives on spirit, lives on breath, is driven by the movements of its own breath, by the movements of its own heart, by the movements of its own feet, which are carrying out the mission of the divine intelligence that we are here to represent.
And what about the last two? I think one is lyrical and the other one is stillness.
Lyrical is the essence of the soul. Lyrical is when we have an embodied heart, an embodied mind, embodied body, of course, and an embodied soul. So that would be a lyrical state. When we are embodied the soul, when we have embodied the soul, we're lyrical. We experience joy. We experience the nature of joy as a vibration of divine intelligence, to be at peace with our place in this world, and to be compassionate, to experience our connection to every other person. If you're a mother, to experience the archetypal awareness of all mothers, like all of us, yearn for the same things for our children, suffer with the same issues with our children. It's like something that makes us bigger, that brings us into the bigger part of ourselves.
And then stillness?
And then stillness is when we really let go and we let it be. We just let things be. We move into that incredible, if lyrical is funky and chaos is freedom and staccato is focus and flowing brings us fluidity, then our stillness brings us all of these in the same breath, so that we can really stand in our place, move in our place, be at peace with the energies of who we are. And that is ever-changing and impermanent. And to be at peace with that, which I've just had, a great test.
Mm-hmm.
As Woody Allen says, I'd rather God gave me a written. But, a great test would be Cancer, staring at the exit sign of your own existence, and falling back on years of meditation and practice to really be with my instinctive self. Like a lot of people giving me a lot of information, many of them in white coats, so they had supreme authority, and I wasn't instinctively going with their suggestions. So it took, I consider, every 5 rhythms wave I've ever danced, every meditation, every church I've ever been to, every song I've ever heard, to carry me through this dark night of the soul, where I clearly had to stand in myself and trust myself above all others, and trust that that self was hooked to a divine self that was giving me the information that I truly needed in order to live or to die with grace.
Well, Gabrielle, I was sharing on the program as we began that I took your wave CDs with me into my 40-day silent retreat that I experienced in 2002. And when I got to week 5 of my retreat, I made a journal entry because I realized in my meditation that morning that I had been dancing with silence, that I had been dancing the 5 rhythms as a metaphor for my experience. So I noted that the first week was representative of flowing, as I took time to gently arrive in the retreat and get in the flow and begin to detach from all that I had left at the gates of silence. And then the second week was like staccato, because I vacillated between feeling like I was on vacation and trying to find my rhythm of the retreat, which, trying to define my flow in the experience as you just described it. And then we moved into week 3, which was like chaos. And I was insomnic, and everything was uncomfortable. My stuff was coming up. I had to do forgiveness practices, and so I was dancing the dance of chaos. And then moved into week 4, where I became aware that I was dancing the dance of the lyrical joy that, as you described it, that was now surfacing as all that chaos came to an end, or I'd flowed out of the chaos into the lyrical, and I was on the threshold now of moving into 7 days of stillness. I'd like to share with our listeners and with you, Gabrielle, a poem that I wrote on that day when I made this journal entry that kind of epitomizes the whole retreat, really. It was called, I wrote it and called it Dancing with Silence, and then I retitled it The Dance of Abundance. I danced this dance of silence, naked and vulnerable in the sight of God. I danced with my questions. I danced with the answers. I danced with discontent. I danced with gratitude. I danced with forgiveness. I danced with the opening up of my heart to love again. I danced with tenderness and compassion for self, so that I would know this for others. I danced for joy. I danced with tears. I danced in celebration. I danced the dance of mourning and grief. I danced with my fears. I danced with new courage and willingness to dance the steps of healing. I danced when the lightning flashed. I danced in the blistering heat of the sun. I danced in the coolness of the rain. I danced with insomnia. I danced with rest. I danced with creativity. I danced with the journal words that bless. I danced with the midnight messages of my dreams. I danced with my angels. I danced with the truth. I danced with mudras. I danced on the prayer mat. I danced like the swirling, twirling incense. I danced with the dance of delight. I danced with patience. I danced with aggression. I danced with ignorance. I danced the dance of wisdom. I danced with the busy ants. I danced with the spiders. I danced with the dragonflies and the butterflies and the soaring eagles. I danced among the trees, leaves moving in time to the beat. I danced with the beauty and activity of the lake life chattering away in the heat. I danced among the stones with the dry dust kicking up at my feet. Yes, I danced this dance of silence, naked and vulnerable in my encounter with God. And many times I would break into a sweat, and you describe very poetically that our sweat in the dance can be like our prayer beads. And you say, Gabrielle, that the more you dance, the more you sweat. The more you sweat, the more you pray. The more you pray, the closer you come to ecstasy. So we're getting ready to move into a taster of a moving meditation with you. But do you have any additional comments about this before we move to that?
Well, God, so many.
Okay, just one quick one.
No, that's a beautiful poem. That's really a beautiful poem. And
thank you.
I think that whatever we bring to the day, to the prayer, to the moment, that the dance is big enough to carry it, and to carry us back home to a peaceful place, or not. Carry it wherever it carries us, and to accept that as part of the dance. And that I always like to look at the body as a begging bowl for spirit, so that we dance so that we can be breathed more deeply. It's not like we want to control the breath and do breathing exercises necessarily, but that we want to get everything out of the way so that we can be danced, so that we can be breathed, so that we can be moved, so that we can reach out of some place real and vulnerable and fragile, the same place that we all yearn to be one.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So now, Gabrielle, you're going to lead us in a short movement meditation for our listeners to experience what we've been speaking about this morning. So,
well, this will be a very gentle.
Yes.
A very gentle one. And I guess I should say before we begin, I don't like radios are interesting. People can be in cars. Mm-hmm. And people can be sitting in chairs, usually, or doing their dishes, and so we are all in different shapes, so to speak, as we listen. And so just kind of adjust to where you are. Certainly if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road and don't pay attention, just let it drift through you. Don't pay attention, not to the road, don't pay attention to the words, just drift in the beat of driving and being more present to what you're seeing in front of you.
All right. And this is the Shamanic Prayer, a track from the Trance CD from your company Raven Recording.
Aha. If you're sitting, you can close your eyes. If you're standing, keep your eyes open. Certainly if you're driving, keep your eyes open. And very gently, just bring your awareness into your feet. Just be aware of the whole bottom of your foot against this earth. And let it sink in as if you have roots. Go all the way back to zero. Roots of light. Experience the energy of life moving upward through the feet, into the body, flowing in through the feet, into the calves, into your knees, into your thighs, into your pelvis. And just experience this light moving up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, into the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders, down through the elbows and the wrists, to the fingertips, and up to the top of the head. And very gently, with total awareness in your feet, shift your attention to your head and begin to let it sway, let it move forward and backward, up and down. Just feel the weight of it. And feel that you're giving your head to your feet. Keep your eyes open. Listening. And very gently move your attention down into your shoulders. And feel your shoulders. How do they move? Up and down, forward and back. Loosen them up. And feel the connection of your shoulders to your feet. Not dancing around, but more or less gently and softly rooted on the, like a tree, bending with life. If you can allow the movements to be big, small, fast, slow. Keep surprising yourself. Engage your elbows. They open the range of movement. They extend us outward. Follow them into the space around you. Feel their connection to the feet, to the root. And let this energy move through your wrist and your hands and your fingertips. And now, begin to allow the movement into your spine, very gently undulating with the vocal, opening your heart, opening your chest, opening the space between the shoulder blades, bending, swaying, fluid. Moving down into the hips. It's like the dance is just, it's there, and we arrive. We move with it. The thighs, the knees, and back to our feet, where we surrender everything to the root of us all.
Well, thank you, Gabrielle, for being with us today and for demonstrating so beautifully with that meditation. We appreciate your time, and I'll share with people later in the program how to reach you and your website. So thank you for today.
Thank you very much for having me, and sweet blessings to all who are listening.
Thank you.
Okay.
And now we're going to continue moving into our meditation segment for today, and take this to a deeper level. And the music that will accompany us on our journey is from the new Zoom CD, again from Raven Recording, Gabrielle's recording company in New York City. And the track that will take us there is On the Other Side of There.
Only no one else can go there for me. Yes, no one else can go there for me.
So we are moving to the other side of there, to that place where only we can go, to connect with the divine of our being in the stillness. So we allow the rhythm to take us breath by breath to that place now. There is love there, peace, joy, and wisdom.
There is a place I know, only I can go, and no one else can go there for me.
No one else can go there for me.
Yes, no one else can go there.
I need to take those steps. I need to move to the center by letting go, by trusting the process of life, by breathing into what is, by deepening my practice. So as life activities, changes and challenges appear, I am rooted in strength by faith, because I visit that place within where no one else can go for me, in the stillness. In the secret place of the Most High. I shake off the dust of confusion, the dust of chaos and discord. I shake off the dust of worry and fear, and allow myself to move with the rhythm of peace. I let the rhythm shower upon me and move me and clear me and ground me, focus me, deepen my faith. In that place where I am, where God is, where all is well. On the other side of there, in the stillness. And so now we begin to bring our attention back to this time and place, bringing that peace, wisdom, joy, faith and strength with us, and allow it to move us through the rest of this week. We bring our attention up behind the back of our eyes. Become aware again of our position where we are. Breathe deeply and let go a sigh. And give thanks for rhythm, movement, and stillness that heals, invigorates, and inspires. And so it is.
There is peace. There is quiet. When we touch the stillness.
You're listening to Touching the Stillness with Rev Paulette Pipe. Every week we set aside some time to pray affirmatively with our listeners. If you have a prayer request, either for yourself or for a loved one, call toll-free now at 1-888-346-9194. Once again, that's 1-888-346-9194. Now back to Rev Paulette Pipe and Touching the Stillness.
There is love.
And welcome back to Touching the Stillness. A little different than you're used to if you're a regular listener, but we tend to let go of the plan and allow the free-flowing movement of spirit, so we go in whatever direction it takes us and just know it's divine and it's appropriate and right. So we've come to that section in the program that we designate for prayer, and we have many prayers today for healing. So we're going to have one prayer that will be spoken for all. We're praying today with Zelda, who's in Michigan. She's just had recent knee surgery and is praying for speedy recovery. We're praying with Christine in Ohio for her mother, Peggy, her father, Bill, her uncle Bernie. They're all experiencing cancer or other serious health issues. We're praying with Irina in Roseville, California, for her grandmother, Maria, for her recovery, Maria had a stroke about 4 weeks ago. We're praying with Barbara in Kansas City, Missouri, for her brother Lenny, who suffered a stroke on New Year's Day and is in hospital. She says that his prognosis is normal, but the effects of the stroke have created cluster headaches and other complications. So we're just praying and knowing the truth with him as he gets ready for his... Oh, he had an MRI yesterday already, so we just know that those results are positive. And we're also going to express our truth for Gabrielle Roth, our guest today from the Move-In Center in New York City. So those are the people we're praying with. If you have a prayer request on your heart today for healing or a prayer request for another, then allow the words that you hear spoken to be the words of your heart. We turn our attention within now, to that place within, on the other side of here. And allow these words that you hear spoken to be yours. I am spirit in expression, steady and strong. Through the power of the spoken word, peace and harmony are established in every cell of my being. My very cells marinate in wellness and perfection from which each have been created. I am in the flow. I am in alignment with vitality and wholeness as my perfect expression. There is no condition, diagnosis, or prognosis that is greater than the power of good within me, the power of health and wholeness within me. And so I allow that healing stream to flow through my body temple from the crown of my head to the very tips of my toes, restoring wholeness in every way. I give thanks for divine intelligence and wisdom of the medical teams that support and care and are divinely guided so that everything that they think, say and do is in alignment with quality health care, in alignment with God's will of wholeness. There is a place where only I can go. I call that place now wholeness, and I go there. I call that place wellness, and I reside there. I call that place perfection of being, and I dwell there in consciousness and in faith. And my faith restores me on every level. So it is, and so I allow it to be. Amen. Amen. We're also praying today for divine order for Todd, who's from New York and needs to tie up some loose ends out of town with his family so that he can return home. We affirm divine order in this situation for Todd and for all those with a divine order need on their heart today. I affirm divine order is now established in this situation, in this circumstance, bringing it into order and harmony with the plan of good that is now out picturing in Todd's life and in the lives of all those with whom we pray. Every needed resource, every idea, every opportunity that needs to express for a perfect outcome is doing so without delay or complication. Every person involved in these circumstances and situations are fulfilled and fulfilling a divine purpose of good right now. We look beyond the appearance and know that good, God, and order is established, harmony is established, and the right and perfect outworking for this situation is making itself manifest in easy and perfect ways. We know this truth with Todd and all those who affirm divine order in their lives, their affairs, their finances, their relationships this day. These words of truth do not go void, but go now and are easily, swiftly, and powerfully accomplished as they have been spoken. For they have been decreed in the name, through the power, and under the authority of the living Christ energy and presence that resides in, through, and round about us and accomplishes the word. And so it is. So we allow it to be. Amen. It seems as if we have time today to share our daily word before we end the program. It's a beautiful word for today, surprise. And so I affirm for each of us, I am open to unexpected blessings. So for all those we pray with for healing, all those for divine order, all those with a prayer request on their heart, we know with you that you are open to unexpected blessings. Tuesday, January 26th, surprise. Life is filled with surprises, both big and small, and they may come through an unexpected phone call from a friend, exciting news of a new opportunity, or a surprise invitation to an event. Each surprise bears its own gift and blessing. I am open to life's surprises and to the unforeseen treasures that come my way. As I become receptive, I release any expectations about how my life will unfold, for I know that God is in charge. The light and love of God fill me and those I care for, leading each of us along life's path. I look forward to the surprises that come my way. I may see some as treasures and some as challenges, but I can be sure that each surprise blesses me and opens my life to unexpected good. And from Matthew 6:21, for where your treasure is, there your heart is also. And so it is. And so, friends, we've come to the end of the program. It's time to go until next week. And I look forward to being with you again next week when we review the 29 gifts that most of us have been taking part in during the month of January. So I want to take this opportunity before we go to thank you for your support of our program, for tuning in each week, for telling your friends, sharing the news about this network and all the good things that we're doing here, and for also supporting us with your generous donations and love offerings that help to keep this network and these programs on the air. Unity FM has moved to Facebook, so if you want to be part of that and you are already signed up on Facebook, please look for us and the various shows. Touching the Stillness has a group page. You are invited to join us and start a discussion, get involved in a discussion, leave your comments and feedback. And if you have a prayer request, you can leave those there too, or you can send messages to my inbox on Facebook, or continue to email me at touchingthestillness@unity.fm. So that's it, and we've had a wonderful day. I trust that you will go off this week and put some music on that moves you and sweat your prayers, and when the music stops and you move into stillness, go to that place where only you can go, that is beyond here. And so until then, the Spirit of love, the Spirit of the Lord goes before us and makes our way rhythmic, powerful, safe, prosperous, inspired, faith-filled, and romantic. Have a great week, and we'll be back with you next time. God bless.
There is peace.